Good afternoon, and welcome to another podcast episode of Chatigans with your girl Sharita. Hey, how y'all doing? I know it's been a while. It's been a long while. Um, Lots been going on, and as you already know, I'm still doing comedy. Or if you don't know, I'm still doing comedy. As a matter of fact, December 21st, you can catch me over at Club 49 at Inn of the Mountain Gods. So I'll be there doing a feature spot. I'm gonna post the link up once we get the poster up. No, not the link, but the poster. Usually we have a flyer. Flyer's not out yet. It'll probably come out next week sometime. And then you can see it. And then you can see me in all my full glam and glory. Because you know when I do a podcast, this is just what I look like. And I'm fine with that too. But yeah, I'm sitting out here. It's a nice day. Getting some vitamin sun. Behave. And I'm back to reading. I'm back to reading again. I picked up The Fault in Our Stars. Did you know Starbucks has a leave a book, pick up a book? So I was over there, got me a coffee, and I was like, well, why not? And a lot of time with comedians, we have to like find our humor somewhere, whether it be observational humor, whether it be things that directly correlate with our lifestyles. That happens a lot too. So there's nothing funny about cancer. If spoiler alert, books about cancer, and if you've seen the movie already, yeah. But still, there's still things that just spark your interest and that you could talk about and turn it into a bit, you know. But enough for that. Did you guys find out that I do have merch now? I got some bar keys because I recently did. I've passed my 90-day window. I'm an official bartender now because again, comedy takes money, and to travel and go on tour, we need money. To do that, I just got a job. That's it. So I bartend now, which is nothing wrong with that. Bartender. Which brings me to say this. Someone did have a problem with me bartending. It was weird. It wasn't so much that he had a problem with it. He was just flabbergasted. He's like, if you're so good at your comedy career is taking off. Why are you bartending? And I was like, you do know people make a living doing different things, right? Like it's okay to have a job outside of comedy, because I don't know if you know this, but I'm not a full-time comedy. I'm not a full-time comedy person anymore, like a full-time comedian, being that I don't tour as much as I should. I don't travel. I don't get booked like out the ass anymore like I used to. Like I was like getting constant bookings because I had the money to travel. So I would go to San Antonio, I would go to California, I would go here, there, wherever. And that adds up because it's like when I leave my house, see, I pay for this. This is my house right here. So when I leave this house, I have to pay somewhere to stay. So I have to pay to stay at a hotel. I'm not big on couch surfing. It's been offered, but it's like, I don't want to find out the hard way you got domestic violence issues. That'd be awkward. Or worse, I just, I like my privacy. I fart in my sleep and I need my privacy to do that. And I don't want you to tell everybody that, I'm a foghorn at night. So I'll go ahead and foot the bill for a hotel room. That's just me. But also, like, sometimes I'll drive out. I have no problems driving up to 12 hours one way and then 12 hours back. Not a problem at all. The Army trained me well in driving. I haven't hit anything yet. I might want to change that. I don't know. But because insurance is high. But no, I don't mind driving places. So that's a good thing. Flying, frequent flyer miles. I have like 3 or 4 different airlines that I am a regular member of. But I still can't get into the Amex lounge. Hey Mav, what's up? Long time no see. Catch me at Inn of the Mountain Gods if you can, bro. I got a show December 21st. Thank you. Got the Boondocks. People give me weird looks when I wear it. I got complimented at Starbucks today. So they knew it. They're bringing back the Boondocks. So I've heard. So that'd be awesome. And you could hire me to be a voice character on the Boondocks. I'm just saying. I got the voice for it. But yeah, so I'm getting back into comedy. So people think that I quit comedy. I didn't quit. I just took a break doing local comedy here in El Paso, because again, it costs money to do comedy. Like, you to travel, get your hotel, airfare, whatever, gas, whatever. The car needs an oil change. Look, it costs money. So yeah, so I'm still available. You can still book me. A couple of times I did a couple of live shows. I'm still doing Zoom comedy because there's no shame in Zoom comedy. Why not? Do it. That's what it's there for, you know? And my dog's ass is in view. I hope not. What are you doing? Oh, okay. Sorry. That's Two-Face. Take other comedians and make them pay for it. See, and that's another thing too. I would love to take other comedies and go other comedians and go on tour. But if you can't pay your way initially, I'm not about to foot the bill, because that's the worst thing you could do to another. Not even as a producer. I'm not even coming to you guys as a producer of comedy right now. I'm just saying, as a stand-up comic, and I get booked for a show, and they're like, "Hey, you have some people that you bring onto the show," and I'm like, "Hell yeah." You know, the egos take over. So egos take over. They're like, what? How dare you book me as a host? Or how dare you think I'm a feature when I'm a headliner? How dare you think I'm going to have to be on the same show with you? Bro, you're not getting booked anywhere else. Why not take that opportunity? And speaking of which, we got a badass all-female comedy show coming up as soon as I find a venue. So yeah, so I'm working on that. I got the hilarious Lucid Limo. If you've seen her on TikTok, she's on Instagram. She's hilariously funny. See her live. So Lucid Limo is headlining our all-female comedy show, and we have the super famous Kill Tony debuter at we have Tanali, and she's in the movie Gloria that's still being produced. She's going to be a knockout, and I'm glad to have her as a comedy sister, and she's going to be hosting the show. And obviously, even though I'm producing the show, I'm still going to be on it, so I'm going to be doing the feature spot. So if you are in El Paso at the time that we are doing this show, it's going to be, I'm going to push it to January. I was going to have it originally for December, but it's the holidays. Everybody's traveling to God knows where. So safe travels, happy holidays, happy Hanukkah, happy Kwanzaa, happy solstice, winter solstice, happy all that stuff that you got to celebrate with your family and all of that. And then all the money you got to buy for gifts and the Secret Santas that you done signed up for that you didn't know you signed up for. Yep, all of that. So mazel tov. So we'll wait for January, and it'll probably be the middle of January, because what better way to start the new year off than start off with a comedy show? Book you, Maverick. Of course, Maverick. 2 minutes. Hey, 2 minutes is a great opener spot. Don't ever forget it. And at 2 minutes, you never know. Right? Look at Matt Rife sailing the high seas of comedy right now. So you start off with 2 minutes, and then next thing you know, you have a Netflix special that everybody falls asleep to. So I've heard. I don't know. I didn't watch it. I'm just saying. So I don't have a Netflix special yet. But now people are going on Amazon Prime. They're putting their comedy specials on Amazon Prime. They're finding venues, filling it up, and hey, sending it to Amazon Prime. And speaking of Amazon Prime, my movie's still there. If you haven't seen me in Butterfly, go ahead and watch that. That is inspirational, because if you think about it, we all have to start somewhere in the comedy world. Like right now, I'm sitting in front of my empty pool. You know, I could be a breakout star. You never know. I have my IMDb credit. I do. For my one movie. I'm usually a background actor. So if you've seen Walking with Her with Edward James Olmos and George Lopez, I'm in that movie. In the background. I'm in that. But Butterfly, my first speaking role film, we're on Tubi and Amazon Prime. Come on. That's how you started off, right? Gonna skate in an empty pool. No, it's not totally empty. There's still water in there. The filter exploded, and I have to save up because a filter is $1,800. And then I gotta pump out the old water, and then the neighbor's tree right here, all that pine needles. Yeah, it's in the bottom of the pool. So me and the neighbor have to have a conversation of how we're going to rectify your pine needles falling into my pool. And most people like, cover it. Well, if it's covered, how do we swim in it? We can't. But I live in a nice neighborhood, and it'll get fixed. But it'll be ready for the summer. You never had a filter. You know me so well, Maverick. You know me so well. You're right. But I'm learning to have a filter because I think that's why also I haven't gotten booked as much because someone tried to deem me as the mean girl of comedy, which is so sweet that you're trying to give me a moniker, but I'm not a mean girl at all. I have no qualms with anyone because again, like I said, I've worked with the best of the best. I've worked with some top comics. I worked with some comics that are just starting out. So I'm still in there. I'm only 7 years in. So some would say I'm still an amateur comic. Some would say I'm a baby comic. Some would say, hey, you're well on your way, kid. Especially if I'm doing feature spots now, especially at like, hey, if you get a casino gig and you're a feature spots is 30 minutes. 30 minutes. Okay, you could be the mean girl Maverick. It's all good. It is all it's all good, really. I don't want to be the mean girl of comedy because a lot of people can't handle that. And it's not so much as the mean girl. What it is as a producer, when I wear my producer hat for comedy, because I produce shows, the quality and content that you provide, people are paying all this money to come see you, and you can't just go up there, uh, slap the bar stool a couple of times, stare at the ground, fiddle around with the microphone cord, and say that's a show. You know, you're gonna start giving comedians swirlies. If they let you get that close to the Maverick, do it because swirlies will wake you up. I'm just saying. But it's like I'm not gonna put you on stage just because you said that you're a comedian. Just be, I've had a lot of comedians. They're like, "Oh, well, you haven't booked me for a show," and when I ask them, "Do you have 5 minutes?" They stare at me. Yeah, I got 5 minutes. That's funny because every open mic I've been to, I've never seen you do a full 5 minutes, and you have to discern between 5 minutes of comedy versus 5 minutes of crowd work. Anybody can go on stage and shoot the shit with the crowd and be like, oh my gosh, thank you for coming. How are you doing? Is that your girlfriend? No, well, she'll be mine by the end of the night. But no, that's not comedy, okay? Well, our job is not to piss off the crowd. We're supposed to entertain the crowd. We want the crowd to laugh at our jokes. We want the crowd to come back. We want them to follow us on our social media. Facebook, Instagram, whatever social media you use. We want them to come back, all right? We're trying to stay. I'm not even asking for press kits, just 5 minutes. Yes, just 5 minutes. You know why? Because I still don't have my own EPK. I don't have my press kit. And I've asked Adam Dominguez, shout out to Adam Dominguez. He is doing press kits for a price, for a fee, and that's reasonable. It's a reasonable price. And I did speak to him about getting it done, but I fell back so far back in my own comedy progression that I forgot about the press kit. And then, truth be told, I'm trying to learn how to do it myself so that I don't have to pay somebody else to do it. Because again, when you're a powerhouse performer, when you could do your own flyers, because I do make my own flyers, when you produce your own shows, when you market yourself, I have my own merchandise now, finally. So when you have everything, like all your ducks in a row, not saying that you still don't need people. You still need people to get you on stages. You still need people to open a door for you. So I'm not arrogant in that sense, but I am confident in my comedy game. That yeah, like I am a package deal. So when I present myself, yes, you can. I have my videos. Yes, I have my merchandise. Yes, I have more than 5 minutes. Like I said, I'm up to 30-minute feature. I think I did a show one time, and the only bad part is I'm not learning to record my sets. I did a 45-minute set as a headliner. Do you know how badass that is? But I didn't record it. I don't have proof of it because again, Pixar didn't happen, right? So that's my fault. So that's why I have this job to build comedy money so that I can afford to have. Look, I just bought a microphone. Did I need it? Probably not. Confidence, exactly. Some sad people confuse that for arrogance. Yes, because they don't know the difference between confidence and arrogance. Arrogance, you just going up there, you're hot shit, your jokes don't stink, you think you're doing zingers, you're doing comedy one-liners, you're like the best, but you're just up there talking shit and ragging on the crowd. Do not dump on the crowd. How many times have you been at a comedy show where the comedian's on stage, they're not getting any laughs, and they're sitting there at the crowd, taunting the crowd. What's the matter? You guys never heard a joke before? And we call them hecklers. So when a heckler says, no, we haven't heard a joke since you've been on stage, You done lost all respect. You done lost the crowd. You done lost your credibility as a comedian. Why even bother? Why bother? Why are you on stage now? You know? And that's comedy woes. That's what this podcast is supposed to happen. This is what I talk about in a comedy. So it's not to be a mean girl. It's not to give you a comedy masterclass, because by no way am I up to par with the greats. But I do know when I see a comic on stage failing, and you're just up there flapping in the wind, trying. You're trying so hard, pulling teeth out to get these laughs. And it's like, did you practice? And don't say, well, I come to the open mics to practice, because we still have comics that go on. This is the new thing now. They're bringing back their notebook. They're on stage with their notebook right there. So it's like, why are we trying to memorize our jokes? Do we not memorize our jokes anymore? Do we not memorize our material? Do you not go up there and be authentic, original, and raw? Now, there's a difference between shock comedy and just saying things for shock value because you have nothing in your arsenal. That's so bad. That is so bad. And remember, what you do on stage makes me look bad, because they classify all as comedians. And as a woman comic, do you know how hard it is to still hear women aren't funny? Women shouldn't be allowed on stage to tell jokes. But why? You tell your wife she's funny before she, you tell that girl you're trying to date, oh my gosh, you're hilarious. You're just a riot. You do that. So why all of a sudden women aren't funny? So yeah, stop bringing your notebook on stage, Or I've heard this excuse, well, I don't have all my jokes down. It's just a reminder. This is not a class lecture. You're not giving a big speech. I'm over edgelord comedy, just a shock for shock's sake. It is. That's not comedy. You're just on stage for 5 minutes. And 5 minutes is a long time when you don't have material, and you're just up there trying to say anything just to get what? Just to get an answer? Just to get a heckler? Just to get what? And I'm not saying like don't bomb. Bombing it comes with the territory. You don't know you're gonna bomb until you're actually on stage and that you're actually going on it, writing on your hand. Some people still do that. They'll have like their little notes. They'll have like 3-liners, all right, and it's called their set list. So they will write their set list on their hand, which is fine, because that's like your reminder of like, all right, where am I going? Because five minutes is literally 3 jokes. Literally 3 jokes, okay? 10 minutes, 5 jokes, you got it. Because you can tell your story, you can tie it into something. I think the hardest type of comedy to do is one-liner. I am not a one-liner comic. I've never done it. I've tried it. I've attempted it on a couple of Zoom shows when they're like, give us your best one-liner. I can't. I'm a storyteller. I tell stories, I talk about, and if you're new here to the Shenanigans podcast, as a comedian, what I talk about dating rules. I'm a 46-year-old single mom. I talk about dating with kids, or trying to date with kids, not actually bringing them to the date, but what entails, because my kids are older. My kids are teenagers. Do you know how hard it is to date with teenagers? Oh my goodness. Who's at the door? We don't have any visitors. Is that the neighbors? It's trash day. Oh, if you're slick, do it like musicians and have your set list taped to the stage, which would be ideal if you got there on time like you're supposed to, and you peruse the venue and learn the venue, see where the stage is, see where the exit is in case you got to run off the stage because you're about to throw up from nervousness, or you really do bomb so bad that you want to just pretend you've never woke up from a bad dream. Yeah, so that's what you would do if you showed up on time. Not if the show starts at, doors open at 8, show starts at 8:30, and you show up at 8:45, and then sit there and say, when am I up? And then wait till you're up, and then you leave, and then have the audacity to say, when do I get paid? Professionalism. Totally. But what do I know? I'm just a small time producer. Like when I book you for a show, if you physically live here, great, because I pay. Oh, in case you didn't know, as a small time producer, I pay you through ticket sales. How many comics are on the flyer for a show and don't promote it? And then the day of the show, with a straight face, you're like, nobody's here? Did you promote the flyer? No. Did you tell anybody you was on the show? No. Well, how was anybody supposed to show up if you don't tell anybody? And with the straight face and in the same breath they ask you for payment, they sit there and say, well, you're the producer. Why didn't you get the butts and seats? Hmm. Hmm. So do you know what the producer does? The producer, because remember this whole thing was about comedy is money. The producer who pays for the flyer, but in this case, like I said, I make my own flyers. So when I book you, I ask you for your headshots because I gotta make the flyer, right? Put the pretty colors on there, make it jazzy up. Gotta have a venue because we can't do a show without a venue, right? And that's what I'm working on right now, getting a venue for our all-female showcase, right? So we have, sometimes we have to pay for that. Some venues are really nice, and what they'll do is they'll do the food and beverage split, where they'll keep the food and beverage and we keep the ticket sales, because again, gotta pay the comics for their talent, right? And then as a small-time producer, if you live locally, you live at home, you live with your mom, your dad, your sister, brother, cousin, aunt, uncle, somebody's couch, I don't have to pay you for a place to stay. But if you're coming out of town, I got to get you an Airbnb, right? I got to get you someplace to rest your weary head. Or at least give you, like, if you're going to drive in, get you some gas money so you can drive away, So again, when we say ticket sales, your payment comes from ticket sales, that's what we mean. So, and you can ask any person that has, any comedian that has done a show with me, I always pay. I pay the day of, not, oh, well, I gotta wait for Eventbrite to come back with the money, or I gotta wait for the venue to cut the check and see how many sales they made from the liquor. And no, if I book you for a show, you are getting paid at the end of the show, the same day as the show, but at the end of it. Some people require payment up front, and you could do that. I'm learning. You could do a half and half, a deposit, pay me 50 up front and pay me the rest after the show. Weird, but okay. Because why would I pay services rendered when you haven't rendered the service, right? And then if you're a no-show, and then I have to grab a comic, because that's another thing. I like that comics do come to the shows because they get them for free, but also too, they're coming in hopes of getting that stage time. So if you're a no-show, and I'm guilty of it, I've been a no-show a couple of times because, like I told you, I'm a mom. The kids come first. So I hate that I get booked for a show and I can't make it, and I apologize for that. I try not to have it as a habit, but hey, parent life. We can't predict when kids get sick or have school stuff or whatever going on in their lives. I have to be present. And I have 4 kids and I don't get to choose. I don't have favorites. Shocking. So I got to be there for them. So same thing with comics. I'm not going to ask you why you're no show because it's not my place to ask you why you're no show. But I know I have other comics that will gladly take your spot. A paid gig for 5, 10, 15 minutes. Bro. So, I mean, the comedy cycle goes on and on and on. So it's there, So if you're going to be a no-show, but common courtesy, like, hit me up. I'm preaching to choir, because who hasn't missed a show? What? You're booked for a show and you haven't missed a show? I get it. I totally understand. So I'm working on that. So there's a few shows that I had to call out on, and I apologize. I'm sorry. I didn't give you a formal apology before when it actually happened. Probably because I was embarrassed, And then the bad part is some of these shows I really, really, really wanted to be on, but they were too far away, and I couldn't find a sitter, and whatever happened in the past. So please don't hold that against me when you start booking in the future, because 2024 is around the corner. It's coming up. Book me. I'm available. I'm available. I'm ready to travel because income tax time is coming. And what I do is half of that goes straight to comedy. So people were worried about, I don't know why people were worried about where the money was coming to pay the comics. That was so funny to me. They were like, where are you getting the money to pay? Like, you're not my accountant. It's okay. Like, where did you think the money was coming from? I'm not out here robbing banks, Definitely ain't on OnlyFans. So, I'm good. The money, it's legit IRS tax money. Okay, so we were good. That's where the money's coming from. It comes from my income tax check. Okay, my tax refund. So half of that goes to my comedy career, and I recycle that in. That's why I have the PA system that we bought oh so long ago. I got a grant, a comedy grant, and nobody listen. Drug dealing on the side. I wish. Drugs are so phenomenally expensive now. Everybody's turning to Ozempic because they can't afford crack and cocaine, the original Slim Thug medicine. You know, when you want to go from this size to this size, you just took some crack cocaine. I don't know, but that's what I heard. But now everybody's on the diabetic drug Ozempic. And it's so bad that the diabetics can't get their own drug because everybody's taking it because certain big name celebrities. Just saying. And notice how I'm not using names because you're not suing me. You're not suing me. I like my pool, so you're not gonna sue me for my pool. I can't swim, but I got it because the kids wanted it. You're not even on it. Wait, do you need to be? I don't know how it works. I don't know who's a candidate for it or not. I just know that what it's for, that's it. But some people are on Cialis, It's just pick your poison. Apparently I'm supposed to be on high blood pressure medicine. I'm not. And drugs are free for me. Isn't that funny? So yes, so those of you tuning in, I know this is going to be the podcast. This is the live version, and later I'm going to put this on the podcast station. Well, I thought you were already on it. I thought you were on some form of medication because there's so many out there, and then that your doctors would prescribe you something that like help you keep chugging along. That's so sad. Isn't diabetes like you just can't like process sugar? I'm hyperactive and I need caffeine to live, so I can't be diabetic. I need sugar. It's weird. Keeps my migraines at bay. Yes. Migraines. That's just me though. But yeah. So podcast. So this is the live version. And again, I'm always looking for podcast guests. If you want to be on the podcast, hit us up in the DMs to be on the podcast, not anything else. I don't date anymore. It's crazy. But yeah. And then I take the live version, I transfer it over to MP, and then I shoot it to the podcast. So we're on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. We are on Alexa Podcasts. We are on Spotify. Yes, I'm on Spotify podcast. I get the download sheet every week. So thank you for rocking with us, the Chatigans podcast. And you're still downloading it and listening to it. You're so awesome. And we're taking subscribers. Right now we got some stars. So donate to the cause if you can. I know it's the holidays, so I don't put my Cash App and my Venmo up there because I don't know if it's tacky or not to put it in the bio, because they're like, oh, if you got your Cash App or Venmo in the bio, you're a thought. I'm not thoughting. I'm thoughting for comedy, I guess. I don't know. I love comedy so much that I put my money up front to go out and go on tour or to get comedians to come in, So I like to do that. And shout out to the producers that are booking shows. And I'm just going to talk shit for a second because I think that's an important part of the podcast. Is like you have your own podcast to talk shit. And it's funny how certain comedians, they're failed comics, but they're great producers. Phenomenal producers because they hit up so-and-so and who's on it. And then they bring them down and then they put them on shows, but forget everybody else on the local scene. Not even put them links up. You could be pleasantly surprised. Well, you know what? That's what I'm going to do because it gave me an option to put a link up and I didn't think about it. So I'm going to put the Cash App up there. I'm going to put the Venmo up there. I don't mess with PayPal anymore. But you're right. Like everybody else asks for money. So why can't I? Because again, the money doesn't go to me. Let's make that clear. The money goes to the comedians that you see on the stages that are, when you see Shenanigans logo up there, my little beer mug with my little hibiscus flower, because we don't put lime in a hibiscus. And you see that logo? That show is produced by me, a female comedian on the scene here in El Paso, Texas. And I'm just going to say one of the female comics, because before I was the one and only female comic for a long time. And now people are coming up Exactly, no lime in the hibiscus. But now we have females coming up. Like I said, we have Lucid Limo, we have Tonali, we have myself, Jenny Robbins when she comes into town once in a while. And then the rest of the female comics that come in, like Saturday night, December 9th, Celia Contreras. She did her stint on Kill Tony and became Roseanne Barr's protege. Roseanne Barr put her on a few shows, so that's awesome. So Kill Tony works for some, not for others. Because you gotta be funny. That's all I'm gonna say on that. Remember, this is the talk shit segment. That's all I'm gonna say on that. Why haven't I done Kill Tony? Because it's in Austin. I'm in El Paso. That's an 8-hour drive. And truth be told, for those of you who do not know how Kill Tony works, you pay $25 to be part of the studio audience. Part one. Part two is you write your name down and you put it in a bucket. That's part two. Part three is you sit there during the whole show, whether it's an hour and a half, 2 hours. I don't know how long the show is because, again, I've never physically gone. But I do know that you pay the $25 to be part of the live studio audience. You put your name in a bucket list and hope that the comedy gods pull your name out of the bucket to give it to the person who pulls the name out of the bucket and calls you on stage. And part 3 or 4, wherever number we're at, you have 2 minutes or 1:30. But really, you have less than 2 minutes to do your best joke. Not a long story, not a long paragraph, not an old mom, look at me, I'm on TV. No. Your best joke in that short amount of time. And you gotta nail it, all right? And if you don't nail it, I think he fucks with you. I don't know. Him and his guests have a tea time. I'm not sure. I've only seen a few episodes. I've seen Carter Anderson's episode, and Carter Anderson is big on TikTok. He does the Taco Bell voices, and he does. He's got the lips and the eyes, and he's like, "Bitch, that's my slogan." So shout out to Carter Anderson for that. And now we have Celia Contreras. She did her Kill Tony spot, and then she's coming here with the Borderland Laughs. Or Borderland Laughs. So she's coming here Saturday, December 9th. See, I give credit to where credit is due, shout outs. So how could I be a mean girl? So silly. So yeah, females are funny, fuckers. Book us. Yeah. So recently, October, they had me over in California again, but I did not get to do any open mics. I'm still, look, my broke ass need to just go ahead on Turo and rent a car to drive out to those open mics to build myself back up to get on these stages. Because guess what? You can't just go to another city and say, hey, pay me some comedy money without doing the open mics and going on the scene and, networking. I understand that. Totally understand that. But I love going out to California and spending some time out in San Francisco in the Bay Area and getting to see who I get to see. I got to see Sam and Athena, the comedy couple from the Bay Area. I got to see Deb Marr. Shout out to you guys. So that was a real nice treat. You can with those EPKs. See, I got to get my EPK up. I got to figure it out. I know I got to stop slacking. Because the only person that's holding me back is me, right? So that means goal time. So what's my goal for the new year as a stand-up comedian? Get my EPK up and get booked. Get booked. I know. See, and that's probably why we don't have like a manager. Well, I don't even think we have a manager because that's just somebody else you got to pay out of pocket to like represent you and get you bookings when you could do the networking yourself, right? Because who am I to not be able to call? Are you drinking my coffee, bro? Really? Are you really drinking my coffee, bro? Dogs. You're not on camera. They can't see you. They just see me talking to you. Yeah. Thank you. Oh, now you're camera shy. Dogs, man. So anyway, he's an awesome guard dog. So awesome. Hey, catch these flies. How about that? I don't know why we have flies. So anyway, yes, so goal-oriented. I don't have a manager. I don't think we need a manager. I'm not sure if we need a manager. I'm not talking shit. The shit talking segment is over. I'm being real. Now I'm being vulnerable. Now I'm being real. This is where my acting chops come in. So yes, managers. They have managers. They have agents. I I don't know how, when, where, how to get one, if I need one, what's the purpose of having one. So maybe I need to research that and look that up. That's plausible, right? Because I did get my own movie on my own. Got a lot of bookings on my own just for being my authentic self and being funny. That does help. Because now, did you read that now you don't even have to be funny? They just want you to be mildly entertaining. What? You don't have to be funny. So you're just standing on stage and doing what? Shucking and jiving? The Watusi? I don't get it. Do the hokey pokey and you turn yourself around? Why? What are you staring at? You're freaking me out. Ain't no ghost. So yeah. So again, I'm about to wrap this segment up because it's been about 30 minutes or so. Maverick had to go back to work, so shout out for Maverick for hanging out with us. And again, like I said, I'm going to download this podcast episode. Thank you for hitting up on the live, but we're going to go and stream it. We're going to upload it to the servers and catch it. And again, if you want to be a guest on the podcast, Shenanigans with me, Sharita, hit us up in the DMs. Let me know your contact information. Oh, you are still there? Because it went away. Yeah, we're all slacking. We're all slacking to some degree, and it's okay. Slacking is allowed. But what's not allowed is completely stopping, quitting, giving up. Taking a break, totally allowed. But slacking, procrastinating, bullshitting, get up and go. Get up and go. Not you. You don't have to get up. So obedient. So yeah. So hit us up. We're looking for guests for the podcast, especially for the new year. And then if you want to virtually be a guest, I figured it out kind of, sort of. You could be a guest on Shenanigans Podcast, but to be on the live portion, you have to follow the Shenanigans Podcast. So if you see this come up on your feed, like us, follow us, hit us up, and join us. And then we got some stars. So send us some stars so we can pay these comics to come and entertain you. And those of you that are in the New Mexico area or here in El Paso, it's only a 2-hour drive to Club 49, Inn of the Mountain Gods, December 21st. I'm featuring. It's going to be a hell of a time. Got a brand new set. Of course, it's holidays, so it's only fitting to have a holiday set. And we shall see you. So, again, thank you for the support. Thank you for those of you that are still downloading the podcast. And we shall see you next time. And I always say, I keep telling you that I'm going to be doing these weekly. I'm working on that. Goals. I'm working on that because a podcast every 3 to 6 months is ridiculous. And the price I'm paying for this podcast. Yes, I got to pay for this podcast. Oh, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Winter Solstice, Mazel Tov, and whatever you celebrate in the month of December, or if you don't celebrate in the month of December, because I know there's Buddhists out there. My nail tech, she's a Buddhist. She doesn't celebrate. Crazy, but she says she does party. So drink up. Come catch me at the bar. You know what bar I work at. Come get some drinks and sling some jokes. Tuesday nights is the open mic night over there. I didn't go this Tuesday because I'm lazy, but I work there. So it's like, do you want to go do the open mic at the place you work on your day off? It's not that serious. So yes, and if you are a venue owner, like I said, we got the all-female comedy lineup. Denali, myself, and Lucid Limo. We're looking for a venue to have this show at. So if you know of a venue where, again, you keep the food and beverage sales, we keep the ticket sales because we got to pay the comics, hit us up, let us know. Love networking with you. You guys have a great, fantastic Thursday, and I'll catch you next week. Probably the same time, not same day. Goals. Working on it. Love you, Maverick. Peace.